And good morning. Good morning. All right, microphone's working. Sorry about the quick termination of the stream yesterday. My system froze. It was starting to freeze as I. Details aren't important, but I had to power cycle the Mac. So it is what it is. All right. So I have discovered that situation number one here, or let's see, maybe situation three-ish is the expected way. Let's 5. That looks like a 5 to me. Let's bump the font. There. Let's do the same thing here. Let's see if this one does what we expect. Give that a build and a run. Ah, huh. Must have left the automatic extension loading on, which I don't want. We want to set it up as the default. So this one, not this one. Technically, that should be a 0. Disable that. Give it a run. Everything worked. Okay. What a nice you did. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Just gonna pour some tea. There we go. All right. Okay. So we are going to do a little bit of cleanup of this file. The VFS lib file. Let's start at the top. APIs, okay, underlying method, fine. Get rid of those. Let's imports done. I did change this to all be lowercase. Hey Sam, how are you? Environment error, that goes away. Default VFS, here's our interface. It's fine. VFS, methods. What is that? Where's VFS? Into a specific directory. These we don't really get to change. We need to follow the same interface that sqlite has. We just pass through most of these. We have is this FIFO. I kind of want to do something else with this other than just that. Let's see what happens though. In this case, we validate that the FIFO is a FIFO, that it exists. We open it. I return that. Let's get rid of this. No point in logging that anymore. Same here. Now for reverb. We do not check if it's already loaded. We only load it once, so we no longer need to check it. That's going to look weird if just this shows up because of debug. We really need this anymore? No. Allocate. And quite frankly, if we cannot allocate, this is not likely to happen either. However, we will likely start this on machines that have memory and are not likely to have run out of memory by the time this code is being called. Okay, here's our reverb. Get the raw mutable pointer. Let's extract this to some other value. We have to transmute that. Yes, because we're going to see void pointer. All right. Now this here, I want to change. I want this to go back to the way it was. Here. I want that because we just passed these through. Can't imagine a system where they're not going to exist, though. Now, I went ahead and forced these to all exist instead of checking the version because we are specifying that we will be implementing version 3. We should probably check that the default is also version 3 and return an error otherwise. Maybe up here, we get the default. Now, for SQLite, the version number for that is here. Below are for version 3 and greater. Do we want to work with ones that are built before, let's see, increased to version 3 in 2011, more than 10 years old? No. Say it must be greater than or equal to 3. We will only initialize once. Init reverb. Okay. Autologger. I'll need to do that. Let's see. Save a pointer to the API extension. Everything should work just without logging. Let's ensure we didn't introduce some panic. Okay. Now let's add logging. I'm tempted to load a config file. And if somebody has to do this, whenever they load the extension, and there is not a way to directly pass some sort of parameter to it, what we could do is have some sort of environment variable config instead of passing like the mutation FIFO in a URL param. And here we pass this. I would like to pass both the logging config and the mutation FIFO config as part of some sort of config file. Oh, maybe this simple env load. I just want something really simple. I don't want to pull in, I don't know, a ton of dependencies. I wonder, do I already have, well, I'm already pulling in FlexiLogger, right? Yes. UV missing config file error. So we'll have our config file. What's there? So we will have, let's see, uh, we'll rename this later log spec. What? Hmm. Oh, this should be with context. There we go. Now let's see. This is what kind of error? Tamil? I don't know. Hmm. We'll see. Hey, Hedge, how are you doing? Heading off to work. Well, good morning. And welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Raid and run. So, Raiders, tell me, what was Hedge working on today? Drink some tea. Working through rustlings. Nice. Hmm. I got this little notice that says, "Join us in following Hedge," but I believe I'm already following. What an odd little thing. Hmm. Anyhow, okay. So, where are we? What are we doing? Big questions. So let's go to the diagram of everything. We are currently working on the VFS plugin for SQLite. Ooh, wrestlings and more wrestling strings. Strings are fun. Rust has fantastic strings. All right. So here's our kind of systems diagram of our whole network. So when a request comes in, so what is this? The elevator pitch here is to have a extraordinarily lightweight system for doing database replication for SQLite so that you can host websites on the super cheap. Right? No need for Postgres, and let's say you could host 10,000 websites on the super cheap. All right. And have performance and everything around the world. Right? Because you should be able to have the VFS replicate the database to every corner of the globe performant. So that the reads are performant. So proxy will see if an HTTP request is a mutation or not. If it is not a mutation, it will send the request to the readers. And the readers will then respond with the data. If it's a mutation, proxy will send it to the writer. The writer, somewhere in the world, would then change the database. The change would be detected by our VFS, which would be sent to data plane, which would send it to data archive, and at that point it would fan out to the readers. The readers, if they needed to scale up due to a sudden, I don't know, let's say slash dot effect or Hacker News post or whatever it is, then we would scale up the number of readers around the world, and they would download the databases that were needed from data archive. Those databases would be stored in a TIKV cluster, and we would use Iggy for streaming instead of something like Kafka. That's the kind of quick pitch and little walkthrough. Sorry for the flashing the white thing here, but MonoDraw does not really have a dark mode for the content section. It does for the Chrome, not for the content. I wonder if I change the color. Let's see if there's just a canvas. No. Hey, J-Rude. It is a pretty big project. Got the proxy kind of working. The data archive down here. This is mostly set up and working. We're roughing it in at the moment, right? We need everything connecting. We have our little test app that we call Notes. And of course, SQLite is tiny. We have our little databases, and we do have some data plane. We have data plane on the right side for downloading. Data plane on the right side is a work in progress. Same with detecting mutations and whatnot and sending them over. So we're currently in the SQLite VFS, and that's the code that you're going to see today. Okay. Now, oh, interesting. Great question, J-Rude. Is this born out of needs for another project or just something you felt would be useful, fun to make? That is a fantastic question. So, um, I'm creating a website for my wife now. How do you create your spouse's website? Typically, you would just set up some WordPress and just go to town, right? I'm not that person, and for me, I thought, you know what? If I'm going to make a website, I'm going to make a WordPress that she can use to build her own website. But I don't want to spend like $100 a month or $50 a month on WordPress hosting. That's like $600 a year, $1,000 a year. No, thank you. So I'm going to make it so that it runs super efficient, super cheap. And I'm going to start with database replication. so that it's fast and performant around the world. So I'm building my wife a website. This needs to one more error. Let's see, with context. Config file, UTF-8 snafu. What kind of error is this going to have? From UTF-8 error. Where is that? Alec, oh, it's string. Alex string error. Source here is, what was it? That. Yeah, I imagine it could be useful in other ways. It's config. Config. Let's keep the shadowing correct. Here we go. All right, now for our error type, config file parse snafu into error. Expected error. Yes, found unit. So what happened? I did put unit in the config because I didn't know what kind of error it would be. But I still don't know which kind of error it is. It's from str. Toml de error. Got it. Toml de error. Okay. What is this? In edition 2024, the requirement for unit. Interesting. Oh, I need to give it an annotation. Well, we need to give it the type info here. We have our settings. We want to use the settings for our logging config. What do we have here? Settings, dot log spec. Mismatch. Hmm. Here. Log specification, try from. Oh, does that need to be a stir? Much better. Okay. Log specification. Now, we're using FlexiLogger. Duplicate from level filter. Okay. Okay. So what we will have is a level like just the coarse grained level. Warn log, blah, or warn info, trace, whatever. Right? Patient FIFO. For file spec, no, duplicate. Level filter. Level filter. Stir. There we go. Maybe it should be optional. Hey, Mars. How are you? We're doing the configuration for VFS at the moment. Trying to get just one space between those. Okay. Settings dot standard error dot parse with context. Okay. I don't remember. Okay. Level filter. Parse level error. Okay. We should definitely pull this out into like a initialize logging or something. Actually, let's do that now. I don't think it needs anything. There we go. In this case, once the level filter is parsed, let's convert it. There we go. Now we will replace this. Log to file. And let's figure that out. Back to here. Flexi logger. By default, if colors is not switched off. Okay. Let's disable colors, maybe. Maybe not. Let's leave it. File spec. This file spec? It is. Builder object for specifying the name and path of the log output file. This is by default the program's name. We might need to change that. Discriminant, some optional part of that allows for their differentiations. Okay. Maybe we could use the program's name as the discriminant. Without rotations, the file pattern used is blah. We definitely want rotation. Timestamp is by default suppressed and instead the infix is used. The infix starts with R. How do we specify? Let's see, a directory, good. Interesting, there's O base name and base name. The specified string is used as the base name of the log file name. Oh, optional base name. Got it. Optional directory. Okay. How do we set up rotation? Is that somewhere else? Criterion. Age. Enums. So we can call rotate. Go back to the code. There we go. Criterion. This is fine with me. The default behavior. Okay. Oh, it's an enum. Oh, lovely. Okay. Size in bytes. Age. Age or size. Interesting. Let's just do size. Megs. Mm, whatever the default is fine. We were going to change that though. Okay, we'll come back. Timestamps. Let's go with numbers. And clean up. How many megabytes of data do we want to keep? Like 50. That's per process, right? No, just specify it. There we go. be funny if this just had like a, if it implemented deserialize. Okay. Now for the file spec. Start with default then. Set the directory to log path. Base name. This will be reverb. Dot discriminant. How do we get the process name? Let's see, default base name. Oh, interesting. Let's just call can we call, can't call default base name? No getters, only setters. Hmm. Well, we could do the same thing. Okay, there's our app name. What else do we want on there? I don't think there's anything, but let's check. Directory. We already got that. Discriminant suffix. I think we're good. I want this to read better. So let's break this up. I'm going to say a logger. Let's see, we do our parsing. We need log spec here. So we have log spec. Boom. No, forget that. All right. Let's see if this will work. Directory, base name, reverb. Give it a check. Nope. Oh, interesting. Yes. Oh, we should have pulled the config parsing out of there. Let's try again. ERROR. Done. Got it. There we go. Let's rename that. Mutation FIFO path. This is now settings. Mutation FIFO. It's already a path buff. Good. Okay, so now that we have these configs able to be loaded, let's just check that. Cargo build. Good. Now let's run it. We should get an error. Yes, missing reverb config file. Good. Missing environment variable. Reverb. Reverb, really? No, it's right there. I copy pasted it. Oh, that's the only place it's. Okay. There we go. No, so could not read config file. I want a better error message than that. Oh, okay. Create the file. Missing field mutation FIFO. Hmm. That is actually // reverb dev one fdb slash mutation FIFO. Invalid floating point number. Okay, that needs to be in quotes. Standard error level. Perfect. Okay. This will be, I could see in production it might be worn, right? But here, let's do debug. Log spec. Do everything. Log path. Good. What if it is pointing to something that does not exist? Oh, okay. We might hit an error later then. Keep log files. I don't like how that reads. Log files to keep would be better. Three. Good. Max log file size. Size in bytes. I want the error message to read better. There we go. Let's do, yeah, that's fine. Nice. Oh, it created the logs directory. Reverb underscore delete me dash VFS. So reverb, program name, current. Initializing. Where are the rest of our logs? Hmm. Now this worked just a bit ago. Oh, I'm not keeping the value. Does this return nothing? Okay, we don't have to keep it. So calling start returns a logger handle. Okay. We store it in telemetry. Let's see if that init was causing an issue. Run again. Oh, it was. Okay, now notice we only received debug and better here. And then we want our config file. Change that to info. Here, we still have some debugging. Nice. Okay. I like it. So now we have our logging. Let's go to here. Foreground. README. Leave myself a love note. Reverb VFS startup. I want to link to here. It's not just code, okay. And wasn't just there. There's also the checksum VFS in the documentation. Checksum VFS shim. Loading. The VFS must be initialized by loading it against a memory DB. All right. I wrote that down somewhere. We'll find it later. What was that? So what we're doing here. Now let's update our notes application. Oh, and we are going to need this config. Be reverb.tomalt.reverb dev/1. Okay. There we go. and 3. Okay. Now I'm doing this because I'm using Overmind instead of something like Docker. It gives me faster development cycle. Let's go into notes. Notes main needs to initialize the database correctly. Connections, sqlite connection, connect with options. Oh, wait. Okay. Then we drop the connection. All right, now I think we can get rid of that. We should be able to see reverb tracing for every type now. I need to give it the correct location of its config. What was it called? Reverb config file? Yes. CLI config. Oh. There we go. Now we are probably going to need to change dev 1. So here's our nodes. One. Back to main to wire that in. Reverb config file. All right, so we set that. Let's try it out. Cargo run example notes. Hmm. Missing field application. Fig dev 1. There we go. Reverb initializing. Lovely. I need another tab. Oh, look at that. Okay. And if we browse to our Notes app and give it a refresh, more loaded. Refresh again. More logging. Lovely. Let's make a change. Some change. Add note. Okay. Now we have rights. I like it. Okay, so far, good changes. I want times in the log. Oh, look at that. Oh, I love it. This is great. Telemetry, see, okay. File spec, directory, base name, discriminant. So use timestamp. No, that's in the file name. I want it in the logs. Log specification. Okay. Let's go to the docs. Hmm. Do we not get timestamps in the log itself? I don't believe it. Line format for, yeah, that's what we want. How do we do that? What examples? Using the right mode. Oh, did we set async for that? We did not. And that's on logger. Okay. As logger format. Okay. Really? Okay. Ooh, format for files. Hmm. Need to ensure that we support KV. Oh, this is more like what I want. Oh, opt format? Where's this? Flexilogger formats. How do we access that? Opt. Oh, it's just at the top level. Functions, okay. Opt format. Detailed format. What's the difference? Here it has the line number. It has it there too. Source, foo, bar. This one just has the module as well. Ooh, with thread. So many options. Or we could make our own. I'm going to go with thread. Format for standard error. Maybe we do the same thing. Colored with thread. There we go. That way, if it crashes like panics, we should have written to standard error. Otherwise, everything's in the log. Let's run again. Oh, now we have timestamps. Lovely. Why does this not have a timestamp? Reverb of initializing. Hmm. And if we load the application, it's fine. It's colorful. Let's see, does fly.io log standard error and standard out? Monitoring a Postgres app, SSH console, logging overview. Okay. Whoa. Ha. Okay. They don't do, they only do standard out. Gathering process out from standard out, redirects it to a socket. Okay. Live tail logs. Hmm. Troubleshooting. Let's make that one dark as well. Hmm. Well, it looks like standard error logs. Nothing. Hey, Shendu. What is this? Fly.io? I lost the context. Sorry, sometimes the delay, it works against us. So I'll answer as if Fly.io is what you're talking about. Fly.io is like Heroku or some other, you know, web hosting companies, cloud providers. Yeah, check it out. It's interesting. That's what I was gonna host my wife's website on. Oh, and thank you for the follows. Dottie, thank you. All right. How do I close this? Control W. There we go. All right. Now I am a little concerned about error messages being recorded at the info level. So let's see, fly.io logging levels. Hmm. What about log alerting? Okay. Well, maybe someday. Not right now. Okay, so we have error logging. Nice. Get UI. Alto. Okay, Toml added. Hmm. Notes, yes. Reverb. Notes, reverb. Yeah, I reordered that. Now, proc file. We need this whole thing to run. Right? We were running the notes command directly, but really it should be handled via the proc file. So we can call just run. As you can see, I disabled the apps. Okay. Now we could just run. Actually, we can't there. It should be here. Wrong space. Which one? Overmind. Yes, this one. At this point, we could just run. It runs everything. We have our applications. Unnamed thread. Great. Nice. Okay. So that runs. Go here. If we refresh enough, we might see the data change. Something. Add a note. I think it's all going to the same server. But we can see reverb's initializing, errors. Great. I sometimes use error to debug. So that's all fine. Shuts down, get UI, nice and quick. Good. Okay. Let's also adjust notes logs go away. What else? Okay. Dev start a log. Good. Logs no longer show up. Need git ignore. Goodness. What is this? This is reverb notes. Okay. Great. Now now let's look at something real quick. Um, dev slash star slash. Actually, why is dev iggy? Here we go. Essentially, we have a mutation.FIFO file sitting in each of the application directories. You can see we have 1, 2, and 3 simulating different servers. Okay, then we have Iggy and TIKV. They're somewhere else. All right, so of our 3 servers, we want data that is being written to the database inside of AppDB, which is strange that it's not showing up. Anyhow, there should be little databases in here, and it should replicate from one to the next to the next. But to do that, we need to notify the mutations FIFO that there's a change. That data plane needs to pick up the change and send it to the archive server, which is down here somewhere. Oh, we have proxy. I don't see archive. Regardless, maybe it's a single config. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Let's rotate those logs, Iggy. Max size retention 7 days. How about 1 hour? Does that work? Maybe. No. Or 1 hours. One Iggy. Rotate those logs. Hmm. No. Okay. Well, maybe just 1 day. Anyhow, where were we? Let's do something to work on the mutation FIFO KPI. Machine state entries. No. Good. Okay. Oops. Was that? So you can see we have 3 applications. They work with the 3 different data planes. Data planes work with the single data archive. And we have a proxy, which happens to work with most of the other things. You see that diagram? Wow, that's bright. Okay. But what I'm thinking about right now is um, keeping mutations close to the users that are making them. I would like it to not have, I don't know, rather, I would like it to be able to move where the mutations are happening. So when the proxy receives a request, it's going to receive a request that has some sort of path information, blah, blah, blah. What can we use out of the request that would signal to the rest of the system that we want a mutation happening close to us, if possible? Maybe it's based on domain name or route. I could see having different domains and paths controlling different sets of databases. It does mean that you'd have to lock a set of databases, and that seems problematic. Um, sorry, user problematic. We could have the request come through, and then the VFS tries to mutate the data. But if it can't, maybe it reaches out to its buddy. That also seems treacherous because you might not be in the latest version, right? You might be milliseconds behind. So that's a no. It's interesting though. I want it to be easy to do, right? Super easy for our customer, right? My wife's website. I want it to be easy for that software to be able to use this platform. Right? The software should not need to know about the platform to be hosted on the platform. I could do something tricky and have the VFS tell proxy, hey, something has just happened and you need to send that request that you just sent us somewhere else. That's possible, but not great. I don't like skipping the app. Once the app has it, it should be correct. It should be the right spot. Mm. I think it's just very coarse grained. We just go with like domain for now. There's this concept of shard, right? And maybe a shard is an app, or maybe the user can define shards based on based on I don't know, some information that they give to us. So we could have maybe some shard. Let's route based on shard. Hmm. Maybe. So then proxy would need to get information about this changing. Proxy would have to say, hey, who controls this shard? Right? Create a shard based on hostname or route. And that just controls where the writer is for a couple of databases. Databases that would then exist in a specific shard. How would we know when we go here that we are within a specific shard? Application, let's say hostname, whatever. Because I was thinking the app previously would be a shard, right? If it's, forum versus something else, right? You would basically shard based on type of application. All right. I got to think on that a bit. I should probably get going. Um, I'll have to give this a think. Ponder, meander. All right. Well, it's kind of a fun song. Who shall we raid today? Adam. Maybe Adam. I'm going to run. Have a great day. Till next time. Bye bye.